Graham, thanks ever so much for this. I wonder how the atmosphere is around the training ground after back-to-back wins and back-to-back clean sheets.
Yeah, really good. 3 wins, so we're delighted with that, of course. They're not so easy to come by, but I've said before, the players are in a good place, working for each other. Whoever's playing shows good personality on the pitch. I think the understanding of what we're trying to do is developing, so that's pleasing. And at the same time, we know how football is. There's challenges around the corner and things can quickly turn around, so just try and keep as level as possible and look forward to the next match.
How are you with injuries and knocks and things going into the United game?
Well, we're okay. I mean, we just have to take the next today and tomorrow just to recover the boys that played last night, which is normal. But I think they'll be fine. Or most of them will be fine, I think, for the game against Manchester United. And then we haven't got anything really reporting. Tariq has been receiving some treatment this week, but trained today. So hopefully no further problems for him. So no, everybody's okay.
We spoke to Tariq this morning. He's obviously had some very well-deserved praise for his performances off the pitch. He seems a remarkable young man off it for just 19 years old, though.
Yeah, again, I've said that. As impressive as he is in terms of his footballing ability, as a person, I think he's just a fantastic role model. There's a perception that you have to be a certain way to succeed in this cynical, horrible world we live in. But he's the opposite in terms of just a really, really nice, down-to-earth kid that wants to learn, wants to improve, wants to help the team. He's been fantastic.
His home debut came in this game, sort of June after in the restart, and I mean that was a pretty tough game. How impressed were you with the way he reacted after that difficult first game at the Amex?
Well, he made his debut away at Leicester, which isn't easy, and took a few whacks, I think, in the game and bloodied face, and we got a clean sheet and an important point for us. And then we faced Manchester United, who were probably the best team at that point, so that they're really, really strong. And it was a difficult night, but he's that type of character that'll just he doesn't get too excited when things go really well and doesn't get too down when things go not so well. So he's quite consistent in his behaviour and just does his best, works hard and waits for the next opportunity.
Was that, I know City did extremely well at the very end of the season, but that United performance, was that the best performance by an away team at the Amex last season, or certainly up there?
Yeah, I would say so. I think I can't think of any better, really. I think Manchester United were in a really good moment at that point, full of confidence on the back of some results. I mean, I think they played Sheffield United the week before. Chris Wilder said the best team they've played, and yeah, we would probably agree at that point. They were really confident and powerful and firing, and it was a tough game.
You've got to face them twice in a few days now with the cup draw as well. How, what sort of reaction has that got around the place?
Well, I think it's a positive reaction. We know the challenge. We know that they're a top team, but you want to test yourself against the best ones, and that's what it provides us. A great test, great opportunity to learn more about ourselves and to try to get some positive results.
And you're without Yves Bissouma. I wonder what sort of headache that's given you.
Well, obviously, you always miss players, but then it's an opportunity for somebody else. We've got a few options. We'll see how the training goes tomorrow before we make a decision, but we've got a few options.
Hi, Graham. How you doing?
Hi, Jeremy.
Graham, just on Dale Stephens, it seems like Burnley have finally got their man. Why are you letting him go? Will he be replaced? And what tribute would you pay to him after 6 years at Brighton? Well,
firstly, he's been a fantastic servant for this club. Amazing. I think in the modern day to have that period of time in a club says a lot about him. Promotion and stabilising in the Premier League. He's been wonderful for the club, and I think he should be proud, and I'm sure he is proud of what he's achieved with us. On a personal note, the last year that he's been with. When I've worked with him, he's been a joy to work with, professional, hard-working, honest. Really enjoyed working with him. It just got to the stage where, like always, sometimes in football, you make a decision, and I think the opportunity to get maybe a longer-term, deal for Dale was good for him, and probably at the right time for the club. I think when a player's coming to that age, has that opportunity, it's hard to stand in the way, and it was a good opportunity for him. We wish him well, wish him the best. He's welcome back here any time because he was a top guy. But yeah, we've got some younger players, some players in the team at the moment, and a couple coming through. So we'll look at the situation. No plans to necessarily bring anybody in to replace, but he'll certainly be missed, Dale.
One of those younger players is Jason Malone. There's been speculation that he could even start against Man United this weekend. Is he going to be in the squad, and what would you say about Malone at the age of 21, possibly making a Premier League debut?
Well, I think people have put two and two together a little bit, and because he wasn't involved against Preston, but we'll make the selection based on tomorrow, and we'll think about what we need to do for the game. But Jason's got some fantastic attributes, great qualities, really competitive guy, wants to play football, wants to play for Brighton, wants to help his teammates, is a really good person to have around, and we're excited for him, for his future.
Just finally from me, Graham, you heard the Prime Minister speak this week. Obviously the return of fans has been put back. Possibly it could mean no fans for the rest of the season, a doomsday scenario. What was your reaction to the Prime Minister, and what are your feelings about the situation with no fans?
Well, it's probably best that I just focus on the fans bit. I mean, it's sad for us, of course. I thought we had a really fantastic pilot event here at the Amex with 2,500 people, in a 30,000 seat stadium. I think we managed it really well, and it's a shame that we can't make those steps and build on that. Hopefully we can work with the government to get supporters back in at some stage, because like you say, it's a doomsday one, if I think not just for us but for football, if supporters are out for the timescales that you're mentioning.
Thanks, Graham. Good luck.
Thank you.
Graham, you mentioned that Tariq came through training this morning, and hopefully he'll be available to play a part on Saturday. He's only played 11 games so far in the Premier League, but how important is he already to what you're trying to build here at Brighton?
Yeah, you're right. He's 19. He's just starting out. I think he's got a long way to go to reach his potential and to reach his maximum, which is normal. But he's got attributes that are really exciting, and they're not so common, I would say, the things that he has. And I'm talking about his speed, but it's also his courage, it's his intelligence, it's his interpersonal skills, how he is as a lad. So that it's not so easy to find those guys, and yeah, he's important for us, of course.
Dale Stephens actually played 33 times for you in the league last season. So how difficult a decision was it to decide that you were able to let him go, and also let him go to, I guess, a Premier League rival?
Yeah, it was a very difficult one, but again, when you understand Dale and his situation, and you make the decision as a club, you have to respect him and respect the fact that he's got an opportunity to get a longer term contract, and at that stage of his career, it's too good sort of to stop. We obviously thank him for everything he's done at the club and wish him well. It's part of life. People move to your rival, so to speak. That shouldn't stop, because Dale's earned the right to go wherever he feels is the right thing for him.
With some of the established players having left the club this summer, you look at the lineup you named for the last game, the likes of Webster, Lamptey, Trossard, Mopé. Do you feel like you're really beginning to put your own stamp on this side now?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think it's more just team develops. That's what happens over time. The more we understand each other, the more we work together, the better the process is, I think, and collectively the understanding grows. It's probably evident in the last week or so in terms of the couple of teams we've selected, and we've managed to keep the concepts that we've been working with quite consistent. And the job is to carry on that process. You want to try and always improve the people that are here, and then if you can add players that also fit what you're trying to do on and off the pitch to supplement what you've got already.
And just finally from me, you mentioned that when you took on Man United in June, they were probably the best team at that point. Where do you think they're at now? They lost their opening game of the season. What are you expecting from them on Saturday?
Yeah, just to clarify, the best team were Liverpool last season because they won the league, deservedly so. But I think after lockdown, Manchester United were really, really strong. Obviously, they finished their season later with Europa League games. They're probably not at the same level that they were at in terms of just against Crystal Palace. But sometimes that's a bit of a process to get to that point. I'm sure they'll get better and better as the time goes on, because their summer's been a bit disrupted, more so than maybe other teams, especially us. So, but they're still strong. They're going to be strong. They're going to be a top team with top players, and we know we're in for a heck of a game.
Thanks, Graham.
Hi there, Graham. Just on you talked about the midfield options. Obviously, Jason Malone didn't feature last night. I just wonder, what are the challenges for you as a coach to decide whether players can make that jump to actually play in the Premier League? What are the considerations for you?
Well, to look at the attributes of the player, to really understand what they can bring to the team, and then to see how those attributes fit in with the overall idea of the game. That, I would say, that's the main consideration, and then also the personality, the temperament of the player, the individual, because it is no one really knows, Johnny, if we've been honest. You're going into the bit of the unknown, and it's not like you have one game and all of a sudden it's a definitive answer. There's always a process to go through. I know somebody like Tariq has made it quite obvious that he can play at the level, but it's not normally as straightforward as that. Aaron Connolly is a great example. You know, first game, scores 2 goals, has to wait a long time before he gets his next ones. That's how it is. That is actually the reality of the process. And it was similar to Tariq as well. You know, he's had games where he's suffered a little bit, and he's had games where he's really contributed. So I think you've got to just believe in the person, believe in the attributes of the player, and then support them as they get to the point where they can play in the Premier League regularly.
I mean, progression in the League Cup helps you because you see these players more. What did Victor Gyökeres do enough last night to maybe sort of convince you that, you know, he could be a Premier League player with you this season rather than go out on loan?
Well, I thought he worked away again. It was a tough ask for him. Up against a couple of centre backs, and he took the fight a lot and ran lots and had opportunities, and you know, contributed to a win and contributed to a clean sheet in terms of how the team defended. So that's the challenge for him to keep those steps going. This is only probably his second game for a while, certainly with us. So the more we know him, the more he knows us, I'm sure the better he'll get. But there's always a point where you have to make the right decision for him and for him and us in terms of what the right pathway for his development is, and we're open-minded about that. But at the moment, he's with us, and I'm happy with that and happy with him.
Great. And just one on the opponents this weekend, Manchester United. We saw the quality that they had in their second string in the League Cup, and they can bring on reinforcements as well. Do you think they've got the capability of becoming like the Manchester United of old potentially this season?
Yeah, I do, because like I said, at the back end of a lockdown, they were as good as anybody. The front three, stroke four with Martial, Rashford, Greenwood and Fernandes were, I thought sensational. And then Pogba and anybody else in midfield, it's very, very strong. They've also added to that with Van der Beek. So it's they've got some wonderful players, and I think they'll get stronger and stronger as the season goes on, and they'll be a force for the Premier League.